Everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to discuss factoring difference of two squares. Now, so as you can see here, we have now what we call a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b minus ab. This is now the structure of a difference of two squares. Now, as you can see, why difference of two squares, there are three elements that you like to look at. First element is that it should be a binomial. Now, as you can see, this is a binomial. It consists of two terms. Another is that both elements should be perfect square. Now, this is perfect square technically because a squared, and then this is now b squared. So we have now, and the last criteria is that the operation should be subtraction. So as you can see, they're different, so it would work that this is now a difference of two squares. Now, if it's a difference of two squares, the factor would be the sum and difference of the square roots. Now, let's have some analysis of the difference of two squares. Let's try this one. So, how are we going to work out on the first one? We have p to the fourth. Let me just change the color of my pen so that it would work this one. So as you can see, we have now here p to the fourth minus 25. Let's analyze. In order for it to look at, now first thing to do is to check each terms. So the criteria is that we have, it should be binomial, perfect square, and subtraction. So technically, it has two terms. So let's try now. So first one, you check now what is now the square root of p to the fourth. So the square root of p to the fourth would be p squared. So it is now perfect square. Now, another is that we need to get now the square root of 25. So, the square root of 25 is 5. So, therefore, it's working and it is now subtraction. So, therefore, we can say that p to the fourth minus 25 is a difference. Let me just use an abbreviation. Difference of two squares. Okay. Let's have now an analysis on the other one. We have now r to the 6 minus 9. So we have now, you need to check now. This is just going to be happening in your brain. So r to the 6, the square root of r to the 6 is r cubed. So it's now a perfect square. Now another is that we need to get now the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So therefore it's correct. So therefore, we can conclude that r to the 6 minus 9 is a DTS. Now, let's go here. Now, as you can see, we're checking now s to the 6 minus 8. So, I want to check. So, it's a binomial. So, I want to check s to the 6. That would be s cubed. And then, we got now square root of 8. We cannot get an integral square root of 8. So, therefore, the answer of that one is 2 square root of 2. This might be your lesson in grade 9 or in the radical. However, it's not a perfect square because there's still a radical. So therefore, we could say that s to the 6 minus 8 is not a difference of two square or DTS as an abbreviation. Now, let's have now the last one in testing if it's a difference of two square. So, let's have now the square root of the first term, which is square root of 4x squared. So, if we could have that, what's the square root of 4? That's 2. Square root of x squared, that is x. So, it's now a perfect square. Now, another is that we have now square root of 25. You can see that would be 5. So, as we can conclude that, therefore, we have now 4x squared minus 25 is a difference of two squares. Okay, now, let's do it now the factoring. Since we identify now p to the fourth minus 25 is the difference of two square, once again, the square root of p to the fourth square root of p to the fourth is equal to p squared, and then the square root of 25 is equal to 5. Now, when we write now the factors of p to the fourth minus 25 is that we need to create now two parentheses, getting now the square root of p to the fourth, which is here. Am I right? P to the fourth. So getting that would be p squared. Put now p squared there. And then getting now the square root of 25, which is 5. And then we'll give now a sum and a difference. So therefore, this is now your factor of p to the fourth minus 25. Let's have now another one. This one. We identified this one earlier as a difference of two squares. So once again, let me just write that. What's the square root of r to the 6? So this part should be happening in your brain. So that will be r cubed. And then square root of 9 will be 3. Now, working on the factor, so once again, you create now two grouping symbol. Now, getting now the square root of r to the 6. As you can see, this is what's happening in your brain. So, you can now get now your answer. So, r cubed, and then we have now 3, then another 3 here, then 1 would be plus, and then the other one is minus, or one is sum and one is a difference. And this is now the factor of r to the 6 minus 9. Another here is that we have 4x squared minus 25. Now once again, let's check now our square root of 4x squared. That would be having 2x, and the square root of 25, that would be 5. Now, working on that, what's our answer? The factors of 4x squared minus 25. Once again, get now two grouping symbol. So, square root of 4x squared, that would be 2x. Rewrite that. And then the square root of 25. So, we have now 5. And this one would be 5. One would be sum, and one would be different. So, this is now the answer for the factor of 4x squared minus 25, because it is a difference of two squares. Okay, let's have another challenging part. This would be 18b to the fourth minus 50. As you can see, we can now start with analyzing now our given. So, at first, it's a binomial. That's correct. However, as you can see, when you analyze this, 18 is not a perfect square and 50 is not a perfect square. However, there is a common factoring. So, you can now factor it first by common factoring, where I can see the common factor of 18 and 50 is 2. So, dividing 18b to the fourth by 2 and 50. So, I can have there 9b to the fourth minus 25. Now, there would be another analysis if this is a difference of 2 square. Now, if I analyze that, what is the square root of 9b to the fourth? The answer is 3b squared. And then what is the square root of 25? That would be 5. So therefore, I can now factor that out. It is now a difference of 2 squares here in the parenthesis or the grouping symbol. So therefore, I factor it commonly. So I give now 2 grouping symbol. So what is the square root of 9b to the fourth? That would be 3b squared. So I'm writing that on the opening of the grouping symbol. And then, what's the square root of 25? That would be 5. And this is 5, so that would be plus and minus 5. So, to factor completely the expression 18b to the fourth minus 50, the correct answer would be 2 times 3b squared plus 5 times 3b squared minus 5. Okay. So I think this is one of the challenging part. Let's go on this one. This one might be tricky. However, it still have the difference. Now, as you can see, this is a perfect square. This is also a perfect square. Let's check. Square root of a to the fourth, that would be a squared. Square root of 16, that would be 4. Am I right? Now, if you could now write now the common factor, we could have that as a. And then we have another a here. So 2a's makes a square root, a squared rather. And then we have now square root of 16, that would be 4. And then this would be 4. However, the sign is negative on the a, so this would be plus, and this would be minus, and both plus for this one. However, there's another analysis here. As you can see here, is also a DTS, or difference of two squares. So it would go on and on as long as it would be factored completely. So we retain the a squared plus 4. And then we check this one. Remember, what is square root of a squared? That would be a. And then what is square root of 4? That would be 2. So as you can see, we can have now another factor where I'm creating another 2 grouping symbols. So I have now a here and another a. And then for the 4, we have now 2 and another 2 here. Then this would be both plus, and the variable would be a. And this is now the complete answer for factoring negative a to the 4th plus 16. And I think that is now the lesson for the difference of two squares. Now, reminding again, you need to test now. Remember the requirement for factoring difference of two squares. There are 3 things that you need to remember. First one, the expression should be a binomial. Both terms are perfect square. And lastly, the operation between the two terms is subtraction. Once again, thank you for watching this video. Hoping you like it, and have a great day, everyone.